So we have stopped up to electronic or induced polarization. Next, second one, let us move to ionic or atomic polarization. That is the second method. Ionic or atomic polarization. When an electric field is applied to an ionic crystal, positive ions move away from the field while negative ions move towards the field. The polarization that develops due to mutual displacement of ions is known as atomic or ionic polarization. Ionic polarization occurs in crystalline solids, crystalline dielectrics, such as sodium chloride, cesium chloride, potassium bromide, KCl, potassium chloride, etc., which have ionic crystal lattices. It consists in the displacement of positive ions of the lattice along the direction of the field and negative ions in the opposite direction. Consider a sodium chloride crystal. It consists of Na plus ions bound to Cl minus ions through ionic bond. That I think all of you know. If the interatomic distance is d, the molecule exhibits an intrinsic dipole moment. When an electric field is applied, Na plus and Cl minus ions are displaced in the opposite directions until ionic bonding forces stops the process. That means Na plus and Cl minus gets attracted towards each other because they are unlike charges. So due to the electric field applied, they move in the opposite directions. Once the once the electrostatic pull is sufficient to overcome that force, the process stops. The dipole moment increases consequently when the field direction is reversed, the ions move closer and again the dipole moment undergoes a change. Thus, the dipoles are induced. The induced dipole moment is proportional to the applied electric field, and the expression is mu I is equal to alpha I into E, where alpha I is known as ionic polarizability and mu I is the dipole moment due to ionic polarizability. E is the strength of the electric field. So ionic polarization Pi is N times alpha I into E. A short time of the order of 10 power minus 13 to 10 power minus 12 second is required for the process of ionic polarization. If you look at these two diagrams, you will understand what is ionic polarization. So all minus sign indicates negative ions, plus indicates positive ions. They are at random like this. They are in random positions before applying the electric field. That means the dielectric is unpolarized when E is 0. So once the field is applied, electric field is applied, look at the change. So this is one dipole, minus and plus. Even this minus and plus, the orientations will be the same, minus plus, minus plus, minus plus. So all minus will be towards one side, moving towards one side, and plus will be moving to the other side. So this is how ion displacement occurs when the field is applied. Next, orientational or dipolar polarization. That means polarization due to orientation of the electric dipoles. The orientational polarization is characteristic of polarization of polar dielectrics such as H2O, HCl, which consists of molecules having permanent dipole moment. In the absence of external electric field, the orientation of the molecules is random due to the thermal agitation as shown in the figure given below. We will go to the figure in a little while. Because of the randomness in orientation, the dielectric material has net zero dipole moment. When the electric field is applied, the molecular dipole rotate about their axis of symmetry to align with the applied field, which exerts a torque in them. The contribution of this process of orientation of permanent dipoles to the polarization P is called orientational polarization, denoted by PO, P naught. For orientation polarization, restoring forces do not exist. However, the dipole alignment is counteracted by thermal agitation. The higher the temperature, the greater is thermal agitation. That means when the temperature is high, there is more thermal agitation, more randomness in the dipoles. These dipoles turn only through a small angle as shown in the second figure. So these two figures clearly explains. Now this is no field, that means electric field is zero. This is how orientation of the dipoles, initially it will be at random. So once the field is applied, all the dipoles will align regularly so that plus positive end will be on one side, negative sign will be on the other side, and even their individual dipole moments will be parallel to each other. This is how it gets orientational polarization occurs in certain dielectrics when the field is applied. Now let us come to the mathematical part. As a process of orientation, polarization involves rotation of molecules. It takes relatively longer time, which is of the order of 10 power minus 10 second or more. The orientational polarization is one of the same order, is of the same order as other forms of polarization. It's only necessary for one dipole in 10 power minus plus 5 to be completely aligned with the field to account for the effect. The orientation polarizability alpha naught is given by, look at the expression, it is alpha naught equals mu p square divided by 3 kt, which is p naught divided by n into e, where mu p is permanent dipole moment, k is a Boltzmann's constant, and T is the absolute temperature substance. Orientation polarization PO is equal to N times mu P square into E divided by 3 kT. Mu P is permanent dipole moment possessed by the individual dipoles. Thus, the orientation polarization is inversely proportional to absolute temperature of the material. Space charge or interfacial polarization. Space charge polarization occurs in multi-phase dielectric substances, that means which contains more than one material, in which there is a change of resistivity between different phases. When an electric field is applied at high temperature, the electric charges gets accumulated at the interface due to sudden change in the conductivity process. There is accumulation of charges with opposite polarity at opposite parts in the low resistivity phase, that is as shown in the figure given below. Hence, dipole moment is induced due to the displacement of the ions. The induced dipole moment per unit volume is known as induced polarization. or interfacial polarization. So interfacial polarization means it is an induced dipole moment per unit volume of the dielectric material. Now let's come to this next heading. Internal field or Lorentz field in a dielectric material. Inside a dielectric, a molecule or atom experiences not only the applied external field but also the fields produced by the dipoles. That means the individual electric dipoles also produce electric field, small electric field, which opposes the applied external field. As Coulombic forces have long range, the second contribution is very important. The resultant field is called a local or the internal field. The electric field acting at the location of an atom is known as local or internal field. The local field is responsible for polarizing individual molecules or atoms in solids. Let a dielectric be placed between the parallel plates of a capacitor. Let there be an imaginary spherical cavity, also known as Lorentz sphere, of radius r around the atom A inside the dielectric, as shown in the figure. It is also assumed that the radius of the spherical cavity is very large as compared to the radius of the atom. The internal field at the atom site A can be considered to be made up of the following components, namely E0, E1, E2, and E3. There are four fields. Therefore, E local electric field is equal to E naught plus E1 plus E2 plus E3. Let us see what are these electric fields. Where E naught is applied external uniform electric field, E1 is electric field due to polarization charges on the external surface of the dielectric medium. So this is due to surface charges. And E2 is Lorentz cavity field, which is field from polarization charges on inside the spherical cavity. E3 is field of dipole inside the spherical cavity. E3 will be 0 because electric field inside a charged spherical cavity will be 0. That is by Gauss law. Now look at this diagram. I will explain this. These two are two parallel plates of the capacitor and this is a dielectric. Dielectric material is placed between the two parallel plates. The negative sign indicates the negative charges deposited on one plate, facing towards one plate, and plus positive charge denotes positive ions moving towards the other plate, cathode plate. And in this, you think of one atom at point A. It has a spherical charge, negative charges on one side, positive charge on the other side. And look at the fields written. E1, it is directed from positive to negative plate. E1 is applied field. E1 is field. E2 is from the surface of the spherical cavity. E3 from the dipoles inside the sphere. And E0 is the applied field. So look at the applied field. Applied field E0 is from negative plate to positive plate. That is from anode to cathode. E2 is just opposite. E1 is just opposite to that. And now come to this calculation of E0. When a medium is polarized due to an electric field E, the displacement vector D is given by D is equal to epsilon naught into E plus E, epsilon naught into E plus P. As a result of polarization, the electromagnetic properties of the medium changes. The external field is given by D equals epsilon naught into E, epsilon naught into E naught. So from equations 2 and 3 we can write, in place of D you can write epsilon naught E naught and equate it to epsilon naught E plus P. So E naught is equal to E plus P by epsilon naught. So this is when the field is applied, external field is applied. Second one, depolarizing field E1. For a simple case of infinite slab, the electric field intensity E naught is given by minus P by epsilon naught. This is the expression for electric field due to polarization. And the third one, the polarization charges on the surface of Lorentz sphere produce this field. Consider an enlarged view of spherical cavity as shown in this figure 19.9. Go back. So this is your second figure. This is spherical cavity of charges. Look at these angles, theta, d theta, r is radius of the sphere, pq, points pq. So OQ angle QAR is d theta. With all these in our mind, let us come to this derivation. The polarization charges on the surface of Lorentz sphere produce this electric field. Consider an enlarged view of the spherical cavity. Let dA be the surface area of the sphere of radius r, laying between the angles theta and theta plus d theta, where theta is polar angle referred to the polarization direction. So from the figure we can write area of that strip on the sphere dA is 2 pi into radius is pq into qr. So from the above figure we can write sin theta as pq by r. R pq is equal to r into sin theta. Please refer to the figure above to write these equations. Similarly, d theta is just like we write s by r. Theta is equal to s by r. We can write d theta is qr by r. Therefore, qr is r into d theta. Substituting above, we get this equation 6. dA is equal to 2 pi into PQ is r sin theta, QR is r d theta, which is equal to 2 pi r square sin theta into d theta. So dq, the charge dq on the surface dA is equal to the normal component of polarization multiplied by the surface area. Therefore, dq is equal to p cos theta into dA. So dq is equal to p cos theta into dA. If you substitute, you will get this equation. The electric field at the center A of the spherical cavity is dE2, which is equal to dQ into 1 into cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. Please go through these simplifications. So after simplifying, substituting for dQ and simplifying, we get this expression. dE2 is equal to P by 2 epsilon naught cos square theta sin theta into d theta. That is equation 8. The total electric field E2 due to the charges on the surface of the entire cavity is obtained by integrating this equation 8. So therefore, integral dA2 is equal to P by 2 epsilon naught into integral 0 to pi cos square theta sin theta d theta. So let Z is equal to cos theta. We have dz is equal to minus sin theta d theta. Then substituting we get E2 is equal to minus P by 2 epsilon naught integral between the limits +1 to -1 z square, because cos theta is z square into dz. After simplification, we get P by 3 epsilon naught. This is Lorentz field E2. And as I told you, field of dipoles inside the cavity E3 is 0. So therefore, total field E local is E0 plus E1 plus E2 plus E3. Substituting all the three, we end up with E local is equal to E plus P by 3 epsilon naught. So this is known as Lorentz relation for the local field, which is valid for